A pleasant day. It's me, Giselle Kaibigan, a basic English student. This video is all about a short story analysis of the story entitled We Filipino Are Mild Drinkers by Alejandro Roses. Question number one. The author has mentioned the comparison of pine trees and coconut trees. Elaborate this comparison by discussing the traits, practices, culture, and attitude of Americans and the Filipino, then relate it to the trees. In the story, the author mentioned comparison of coconut and pine trees. It has its own differences when it becomes to their trait, practices, culture, and attitude that represents how American and Filipino are diverse to each other. The coconut tree symbolizes the Philippines. It starts up to the sky, but then its leaves sway down on the earth, as if it's remembering the land that gave it birth. It does not forget the soil that gave it life. In this story, it shows there how Filipino man welcome his foreigner friend. The traits of Filipino is being hospitable. This is one of the most popular qualities of Filipinos. Foreigner rather, who have gone to the Philippines find themselves falling in love with the warm hospitality we shown. It's a different kind of value system which has existed for a thousand of years. Furthermore, the traits of Filipino is drinking alcohol. Early Filipinos, according to the records, drank in large quantities. During ceremonies, events, and communal recreational activities, drinking was almost required while drinking during meals are often custom. Moreover, refusing to accept the offer of alcohol was considered as disrespectful. Filipinos are very resilient, just like coconut. In times of calamity and catastrophes, Filipino always manage to rise above and challenge. Instead of wallowing, we manage to pick themselves up and smile. The Filipino attitude that we all possess, and the protagonist of the story is being humble. I believe that Filipinos still practicing humbleness as generation to generation pass this positive Filipino value. On the other hand, pine trees is tall and stately. It goes straight up to the sky like a skyscraper, which it symbolizes America. The trait of American people is being direct. Americans believe in being direct and don't hesitate to give their opinions. They tend to be outspoken on the issues and prefer addressing conflict rather than working around or using a go between. In this story, the foreigner directly talked to the Filipino man without greeting it and asking about his name. Another one is American people are independent. Americans strongly believe in the concept of individualism. They consider themselves to be separate individuals who are in control of their own lives rather than members of close knit and interdependent family. One of the culture of American is to believe in working hard and playing hard. There is a general acceptance that the harder one works, the more they will be able to enjoy their free time. Success is valued. Lastly, the attitude of Americans are being competitive. In the story, foreigner is proud to say that he's a good drinker and a strong alcoholic drinker. He drinks a lot of alcohol. He thinks that because he drank plenty of alcohol, the Filipino man can't beat him. That's how the pine trees represents tall and stately. It goes straight up to the sky like a skyscraper. Thus, those are the differences of the Filipino and American to each other. Question number two. Roses has also mentioned Filipino practices that may be still observed at the present times in the provinces or rural areas. Identify those practices and relate them to your own experiences or observation. Filipino are known for our hospitality. The phrase used to describe how Filipinos greet visitors from other countries or tourists in the most often times or often used, which is still observed at the present times in the province or rural areas. It is certainly extraordinary how Filipinos treat their guests. Every time a guest come to in a Filipino home, there will be a fest or a large celebration since it is strangely customary for us to prepare copious amount of Filipino food so that visitor can sample our culture through food. A happy family would also normally be eager to accommodate and interact with the guest. Additionally, Filipino families are frequently more than happy to open up their entire home as well as their meals. In reality, Filipinos frequently use the term feel at home while welcoming guests to make sure that they are comfortable during their stay. For Filipinos, welcoming foreign guests and fostering sincere friendships with them is a pleasure and an honor for the nation. Last question. Does the title stand for what the story is all about? In reality, does it confirm that Filipinos are mild drinkers? Share your thoughts. The title of the story, We Filipino Are Mild Drinkers, stands for what the story is all about. We all know that Filipino used to drink in any occasion, event, or even in normal days. Filipino are not a mild drinkers indeed, but the title of the story itself represents how Filipino are being humble and not being brassy. Even in the story, the protagonist always says that he is a mild drinker compared to the foreigner, where in fact, the first person who got drunk is the foreigner. Thus, Filipino are not a mild drinkers, and title itself just signifies how Filipino are being humble. That's all. Thank you for listening. God bless.